Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to all of you kings and queens from all over the world. Welcome to HMG Network, broadcasting from the Greater Washington Metropolitan. I am Freeman Sengirankabo, your host for the African State of Union show. It is in front of you right now as I speak with you, as well as a humbling experience to have so many of you coming out of your busy life and schedule to come just so that we can share this precious conversation. And with that in mind, if you are joining us, for those of you joining us for the first time, we just want to give you a huge welcome, especially if you're joining us using a mobile device or from any one of these social platforms such as Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and what have you. There are so many of them out there. I just want to give you a huge shout out. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And before we jump right in it, I want to tell you to just go right ahead and subscribe first and foremost by clicking on that button that says either subscribe, share, like, and definitely do not forget that bell. Why? Because when you subscribe, you actually get notified firsthand of any activities and program we got going on right now, firsthand. So if we on live like right now, you actually get to know it right then and there. And anytime we upload a video or any communication whatsoever, you actually get to see it right then and there, and you can actually check it out, especially when it's relevant to your test. But above all, we want you to be notified when we live so you can join the conversation when we are in talking in real time like right now. So with that in mind, guys, go right ahead and subscribe. Come and join us. The lines are open. Our WhatsApp line is open and our video conference is open. All the information is right at the very bottom there. And with that in mind, guys, this zone, our zone right here, right now, we have the truth, we have the trust, and we have the love. And these are the qualities by which you can measure the value of the content that we will be sharing today. So with that in mind, guys, today's program, I'm going to talk to you about just one and only one thing. You can be like, Free, what's up? So today I want to talk to you about the identity crisis that we have all over the world. This is like an epidemic, literally. It seems like the majority of people are just so confused of who they are globally. And that's why I feel like today it is such a relevant subject and a topic to talk about. Who are you? Have you literally timed out and asked yourself, who am I? Who are you? Oftentimes, you wake up, you head on now, you go to work or do whatever it is that you do, and first thing that you get that literally hits you front end is people labeling you, all in attempt to tell you who you are. Some of you confuse you or they label you based on the ethnicity. They might either call you, man, I mean, they literally go out there and call you all kinds of names on them. The other person could be like, nah, that one is Dembele. Or you might be a Yoruba. Nah, you could be a Nibgo. Oh, you can look at this brother and be like, man, you could pass on for a Hutu or a Tutsi. On the other side, they can be like, nah, that looks like an Apache. Or you definitely are a Cherokee. All because of those lenses of ethnicity. And with that in mind, you can't help but to get confused. You get pulled into these things where everybody just labels you for an identity. But things are getting so complicated and sophisticated that it goes beyond labors of just that the ethnicity labors on it. When you look, oftentimes, a greater majority of people, especially now that most of us, we are traveling left and right, up and down all over the world, some people label you based on your functions, the roles that you play each and every day. Let's say, for example, I'm a cook. And if I'm a cook, someone gives me an identity of a cook. You're just another boy, bring me some sugar, do this and do that. I could be a doctor, or you could be a doctor. Someone sees you and like, oh, yeah, you're a doctor. And that becomes your identity. You could be a bus driver, or a nurse, or a firefighter, or a pilot, or what have you. So these functions that we play every single day, they also get mistakenly attributed to us as our true identities. So you find out that we live this life so confused. Why? Because we live in this world I can call a matrix, where day after day after day after day, our identities are being swallowed by various things all around us. And somehow we've given them permission to mislabel us, which cause so much trauma from it literally, it's killing us all. Look what's happening all over the world. The labels that we're being given, the ones that we are assuming, are actually defining who we become and what we become, which is really not our true identities. But things are getting even more complicated. This whole identity crisis has become institutionalized. You can be like, Free, what are you talking about? From being a child to a grown old person. They send you to school, they send you to daycare, they send you to all these various places where we're being molded and we're being taught that this is you, and that is you, and that is you, and that is you. And so you grow up thinking and believing and smelling like that which you have been given as a label. Imagine if you go somewhere in Africa, for example, and you happen to have a color skin that is of white. Someone sees you, immediately you called Mzungu. That's code name for white people, y'all. So, hi, Mzungu. You come here in the United States. You got a brown color skin like myself. Immediately, hey, you're African. Straight up. I mean, you don't even think about it. It just comes out of you like that. If you see someone from the Asian region, you're definitely Asian. But sometimes you even go to the extent you may even offend them. You can see Chinese and mistaken them for a Japanese, which is quite an offense. Or you see someone from down in the Caribbean islands, and you label them for something that they're not, simply because of our perceptions, guys. That's how sick we're becoming. So our identities have been absolutely diminished to labels, functions, the things we do every single day. And it is so unfortunate because globally now, you are born being branded into this label. And there is a very sophisticated group and systems that are making sure that you maintain that label from the time you're a child all the way up until when you become an older person. Guys, y'all need to wake up. Absolutely get out of that dreams, get out of that bait, figure out, y'all need to wake up for real. Because that's what's killing you. That's what's driving us bankers over. But unfortunately, it has been so deeply rooted into everyday lifestyle that some people don't even know who they are anymore. That's why you found out someone buying a Gucci bag, because they identify themselves better with Gucci. If I have a Gucci, I'm good. Another young person could go right ahead and have Nike shoes. Why? Because, Nike got swags. Or you could be a Louis Vuitton. Or you can go right ahead and get yourself a Corvette, a Maserati. Just all these names and labels. Somehow the society has told us that, hey, unless you are this right here, you're not you absolutely nobody or you nothing at all. And when I look at that just makes me feel so sad because, man, you are so valuable. You are absolutely, absolutely so valuable to the extent that if you knew who you were, man, you'd be hitting you like, how the hell did I not know this? You are not just a label. You are far greater than a label that's being attributed to you. Day in and day out, day in and day out. How do you tell me that you go to various places and immediately once you're in that space, your perception of the people, your perception of the things there triggers you a particular label that you have to attribute to that? That is a disease, yo. And for some people, it is so deeply rooted, it's like a virus. It causes you from not seeing the creatures in front of you, the most amazing creatures that they ever been on this whole entire planet. That's how sick we're becoming. Because based on those lenses, I define you in something so small and so skewed as your whole entire being. How sickening can that be, y'all? So, in particular, all you my brothers and sisters in Africa with inferiority complex, y'all need to wake up. This goes for everybody all over the world, but in particular, these brothers and sisters all over there in the African continent and all over the world. We have such an inferiority complex of who we are. This skin makes you feel like you associate yourself with so many various labels that's been given to you, and you cannot see anything else beyond those labels. To the extent you hate yourself, you bleach yourself, you absolutely change your names, anything that reminds you, that brings about the true self that you are. We gotta get out of that. You cannot live your whole life hiding the true self that you are. You cannot live your whole life hiding like that. But also, every time you participate in this whole labeling business, you're giving permission everybody else around you who's giving you those names to control you. Whatever name you take, it describes you. And that determines what you do around. So why am I bothering saying all of this? The reason why I'm bothered and I'm bothering you with this moment saying it is because you are a special, absolutely amazing creatures that's ever been created. The most amazing, beautiful, intelligent creature that there is on this whole entire planet. Hear me out. But the labels that's been put around you has gotten you so confused. You can't even recognize yourself. So let me give you a practical example, and I do hope that you guys get it. Look at a lion in the zoo, an actual lion, just like that image that I put out there earlier. I'm telling you, today we've become so controlling to the extent you take a lion out of its natural environment, you bring it in a zoo. You dress it in any way, shape, and form that you want. So take a lion and put him amongst a bunch of sheep. You beat it, you do all these things so that it becomes like a sheep. It goes even to the extent it learns how to sound like a sheep because you're forcing it to be like a sheep. all that energy, because you've taken it out of its environment, you bring it in a zoo, you give it a new identity, and you insist that it picks on that same identity. Now, does the fact that that lion has been taken out of its natural environment change the fact and the truth of the matter that that lion is still a lion? That lion still has a DNA of a lion inside of it. It has lion blood. Everything about it, it's a lion, no matter how you dress it. So even with you, just like a lion that is so confused in a zoo, it doesn't matter what kind of environment that you are in. You can be beaten, you can be swayed, you can be given all kinds of medicine, this and that. What you are doesn't change. That perception that you are a sheep when you're a lion, for some people it works and they get confused. But it takes so much energy to be what you're not supposed to be. A lion fights. It fights because it doesn't want to be a sheep. And you also fight harder and harder and harder, pushing it to behave like a sheep, to be like a sheep, to smell like a sheep. Until either it gives up and it lets you be, learns, imitate to be like a sheep, but it will never be an original sheep, unfortunately. But also, when that lion finds an opportunity and leaves that cage, leaves that zoo, it's like a light switches back on. That DNA inside of it, the blood inside of it, and the true identity within itself, it has no option but to come out. Why? Because it was created as a lion, not like a sheep. Even with you, you are the kings and the queens of this whole entire planet Earth. My brothers and sisters, you are the kings and queens of this whole entire planet Earth. However, because of this sophisticated environment that we have, some of us have sold our royalties for a Gucci bag. Others have sold our royalties for Jordan. Others have sold our royalties for a pot of porridge. Others have sold our royalties for so many various things. Guys, I want to let you know, it doesn't matter where you are today. You are still a king and a queen. Remember that. Despite the circumstances, just like that lion amongst sheep that's being beaten, that's being converted, that's being transformed to be a sheep, your DNA, it's royalty. You are a king and a queen every single day, despite what you are into today. And with that in mind, you gotta wake up, smell the coffee, look around you. Stop behaving like a lion. Stop behaving like a royalty, because that's who you are. And for these gatekeepers all over the world, whose job is to make sure that you maintain the identity of a sheep, it won't be too long before things will change. It's inevitable. A lion is always a lion. It doesn't matter how you dress it. You can give it all kinds of changes. It doesn't change the fact that it's a lion. Guys, I feel so sorry. I feel so sad when I see a handsome dude, so confused. He behaves like a woman, acts like a woman, say that I'm a woman. See this fine-looking woman, so sold that she's a man. Talks, walks it, does everything like a man. But naturally, you are who you are. There is not a amount of surgery that's going to change your essence, your true self. So with that in mind, there are a lot of responsibilities that you must assume. Doesn't matter how long you delay it. A lion is a lion. A sheep is a sheep. A lion in Africa is a lion. A lion in the United States is a lion. It knows the fact that it's a lion naturally. You will never, never, never see a lion that attempts to bark like a dog, walk like a dog. Never. You will never see a lion that wants to be a goat or a chicken. Never. The same way you would never see a dog trying to be like a lion. Only human beings, us, we've been cultured to be the things we're not. And that is so tiresome. That is so tiresome, y'all. Y'all can agree with me, most of you. It is so expensive. It is so costly to put on that face in the morning as you step outside of your comfort zone. Put on that mask of who you're not. You go there for those 8 hours, 10 hours, or however long you are required to maintain that face. Then you come back home and you're so beaten up. You got so little energy. Almost like the life is just being sucked out of you. That's why it requires to have all these crazy degrees, because you're being forced to be what you are not. And you're being told that only if you can be a dog here, you will prosper. If you can be a sheep here, you'll prosper. If you can be a chicken there, you'll prosper. If you can be a doctor here, a lawyer here, you'll prosper. If you can only be a nurse here, you'll prosper. Very few people will tell you if you can be your true self, you'll prosper. And guess what? When you're being your true self, it requires not one single degree. Case in point, have you ever seen a bird that goes to a university, learns how to fly before it flies? Have you ever seen any bird, either a bird from Rwanda, from South Africa, from Nigeria, or Sierra Leone, or the United States, or down in Venezuela, or Colombia, or Canada, or France, or Germany, or China? There is not a single bird in this whole planet that has to ask you a permission to fly. Why? Because it was burned. It was burned with flight inside of itself. It needs no permission to fly. And when it flies, no boundaries, it flies. But you try to fly. You gotta be not one, and first and foremost, you gotta become a pilot. You go through all this training. And then it's so difficult because you're trying to be something you were never created to be. Look at a fish. A fish never goes to any university for swimming lessons. All it needs is water, and it's swimming, and it's swimming, and it's swimming, absolutely enjoying itself. And by the way, it never gets tired of swimming. Why? Because it's created in its essence to swim. I've never seen school giving us a fish Never. Whether it's a Chinese fish, a United States fish, an African fish, or whatever labels you might choose that you want to use, you would never see a fish that requires a diploma to fish to go and swim. But you try to swim, or try to go in that water without knowing how to swim. You gotta go take all these lessons. You give up all your money. You gotta change who you are, put on all these extra things just so you can float like a fish and swim like a fish, because you were never created to swim. Yet when you feel like you want to be a fish, you go out there and you fish. Yet it's so tiresome to be what you're not. And that's why all these universities are thriving today, because we're being molded and transformed to be and being the things we're never created to be. Have you seen a singer who's naturally a singer? You don't have to take lessons. When your gift is it's singing, you can swing, you can sing and sing your lungs out. And for someone who's been coached to be a singer, they come and they stand right next to you and they can't even match you. Why? Because naturally you can sing. You're created with singing music inside of you. Guys, let's take a quick short break. For those of you who are just joining us, be sure to subscribe, hit follow, share, and like. And we'll be right back. Welcome back to Africa's State of Union. For those of you who are just tuning in right now, an epidemic in the identity crisis. Who are you? That's what we're talking about today. And just right before the breaks, I was just alluding to the fact that we've been given so many labels every single day, left and right, up and down, everywhere you go, you just get a label. It doesn't matter who you are. We are so professional labelers. And we have to change that. And I was also telling you that when you assume your true identity, you become yourself. You don't need to be coached on how to be yourself. But it takes energy, effort, all kinds of resources to mold you into something you're not. I was giving you an example of a bird that just naturally flies. And it requires no diploma, no bachelor's, no master's, no PhDs, or all these extra labors that you like to give yourself to. It just flies. And by the way, it has boundaryless environment. It can fly any way it wants to fly. It needs no passport, no immigration status, none of that. It doesn't even need to be a citizen of any particular region to fly. Because naturally, this is an environment for it to fly. Same with a fish. There's never been any single fish in any region of the world, whether it's a fish here in the United States, South America, Africa, Europe, or Asia, that has to go to any university to learn how to fly, to learn how to fish, to learn how to swim. It swims naturally. It does it so beautifully that we go on and try to imitate it. When it swims, it's having the most fantastic time of its natural being. Try to swim. without taking all these courses, being certified this and certified that, you die. Because that's not your natural environment. That's not your natural self. So stop being these other things that have been given or attributed to you, and you've bought into it. We gotta stop. Time out. Look within yourself. Your identity is in you. It's in you. You never get your identity from any university. You don't get your identity from your parents, from your guardians. You do not get an identity from your neighborhoods, from any country. None of us is qualified to give you an identity. However, every single day when you step outside, you meet all these professional identity givers, for the lack of a better word, who tell you what identity to take on. Because them themselves are confused of who they are. And for various reasons too. You're given an identity just to put you in a specific box. That box you're not designed to live in a box, guys. So your brothers and sisters all up in Africa, remember, and all around the world who are being oppressed and being forced to be what you're not supposed to be. That's why you're fighting against all these things, because you're not that person. You're not that which is being pinned on you. And I was telling the gatekeepers all over, even you as a gatekeeper, you know it is so hard. After a long day's work, after you've been pushed these people down left and right, you feel so tired because you're not being yourself either. So all of you kings and queens out here, doesn't matter what you are today or the function that you are in today, that you are assuming today, that you are playing today, those functions are not your identity. I repeat, those functions do not identify you. Today I could be a barber, cutting hairs beautifully. But don't get it twisted. That is not my identity. I can grab a broom and go sweep around. To some of you, that's how you see me. As just that sweeper. And for those of us, you go to this region, oh, hey African, because they've been told that labor, that's your identity. You go to another side of the region, hey Mzungu, code name for white people. And they only see you for that color, skin. Rise above that. Rise above that. Now today, we are professionals in various capacities of labors that have been given to us. And because of those reasons, very few people are doing what they were born to be and to do. And they have their true identity and proudly display them on the outside. And you will see those people who are being themselves because they're having the most amazing times of their lives. It is so pleasant to be next to a person who's being themselves. No judgment, no labels. They see you for you and they just pour themselves out for themselves. You don't have to like him. They don't even care whether you like him or not. Why? Because they're just being themselves. A bird doesn't care whether you like that it's a bird or not. A lion never cares whether you approve that it's a lion or not. Only us humans, we have a problem being who we are. I gotta dress this, dress that, speak like this or speak like that so that you can approve of me. Because I don't have my identity. I've assumed so many different identities. So that has to stop, y'all. That got to stop. Now, you see how the planet is crying today? Things are getting loose left and right, up and down. It is also misplacing us from where we're supposed to be and what we're supposed to be doing. You see a doctor who's supposed to be a farmer, struggling being a doctor because he's told that that's where the money is. You may see a lawyer who's trying to be a chef and he's struggling because you're not supposed to be a chef, or those roles are not descriptive of what you are. Whatever gifts inside of you are a part of that identity that was molded with you when you first arrived on this planet. So each and every one of you, kings and queens out there, your identity will always give you and comes with the gifts that you're supposed to bring to this world as an added value. So what's inside of you? What is your identity? Because your true identity, when you're being you, everything around you, your surroundings, become happy, joyful. The people around you are so happy and pleasant because your vibes is just, those vibes that you bring out are just amazing. So who are you? Look inside of you. Bring out your very best identity, your very one and only one true identity. But I guarantee you, when you make a decision to become who you are, what you are, but also you'll be accessing the most natural essence of you being you. That is stronger than anything that you've ever seen before. So you Africans today, kings and queens who are beggars, kings and queens who cannot do for selves, kings and queens who wants to go to America, to Europe, to Asia, to all these places but Africa. Kings and queens who are killing each other because we don't know who we are. We have to become who we are. It's in you. It's in your DNA. So become yourself. The environment that you are in does not give you an identity. You can choose to play those roles as they are being given to you. But why not be you instead of assuming something else you're not? You die younger, you die faster when you're being what you're not supposed to be. So guys, become yourselves. Become yourselves. Y'all know I love you. And in this zone right here is nothing but truth, trust, and love. If you go to any parks, hear lions. A lion will roar, will never bark. A lion will know that there is another lion out here. So today, I want to just roll to you guys and remind you what that sounds like. You are lions. You are kings and queens. Stop being sheep and goats and chickens. You're not those things. They are We already have chickens and goats and pigs and this and that. Why do you want to be what you're not supposed to be? You're actually enfranchising them. If you try to be a dog, that dog that's naturally a dog is going to be crying because you're taking its place. If you're trying to be a sheep, that sheep that's naturally a sheep will be crying because you're trying to be a sheep. So be careful what you accept to become. Especially, your true self will let you know that this is not me. This is not me. You can feel it. That is not you. So guys, it is time to wake up, y'all. It is time to remember that you are lions, kings, and queens. You're supposed to dominate. You're supposed to govern. You're supposed to manage all these resources around the planet. That's your true self, a king and a queen. Now you can be a king who chooses to be a fool. Or you could be a queen who chooses to abandon your queenship. Because some of us, most of us, we're getting so confused that we don't even know who we are. But you got to remember, the fact that you're not being who you are does not excuse you from abandoning your roles and responsibilities. So your true self, whether you assume to be who you are or embrace something as you're not, it will not change the fact that those are the roles and responsibilities and identities that you naturally have been given. And you've been given those qualities to come and contribute to this planet. And your lack of assuming your true identity, it's killing this earth, this planet. And it's also disenfranchising all of us because we don't know you. We've never been introduced to you. And you're also infringing a different identity to that space you're occupying, to that other true person or another animal, whatever it is that you're taking out of a place of something else. You're misaligning yourself to what you're not supposed to be. And that does nothing but kill you and kill everything around you. So stop it, y'all. Become what you're supposed to be. Become what you already are. This is how I know that what's inside of you, it's so alive, it's so ticking, and if you wanted to access it and to bring it out, you can. Here is how I know that you still got it in you. Ever since you were born, up until right now, right at this moment when you're watching me, have you ever forgotten to breathe? Have you ever taken a vacation from breathing? Not even once, just for however long you've been existing. You breathe like a clock. Breathe in and breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Because that's a part of who you are, your true self. Try to take a break from breathing. What happens to you? Give it a try. You die in an instant because you're not being you. If someone puts their hands on your nose and their mouth on your mouth, what happens? You suffocate and you die. If somebody tries to do that, you're trying your best to get them off you, those hands off of you because you're struggling for that life. You're struggling for that being. You want to be free because that's your true self. You can never suffocate that. And anybody who suffocates that, they kill you. So imagine what happens to the rest of you. You're being suffocated every single day because you're not being you. Another example. Have you ever since you were born up until this moment, if you're trying to relieve yourself, or trying to use a restroom or trying to go handle your business, have you ever taken a vacation from that? Why is it that you don't say, okay, you know what, for the next 2 months, I'm not going to use a restroom. I'm not going to relieve myself. Try it and see. The result, you die. Why? Because that's a part of who you are. Last but not the least, have you ever taken 6 months vacation from eating? But you know what? Nah, I'm good. I won't be eating no more. What happens when you're trying to stop, when you actually stop from eating for longer than 40 days? You die, because that's a part of who you are. So because of that, I know that even your true self, your whole true self can be activated anytime you want to activate that, irrespective of how much you're being fought against, how much fear is being injected in you. If you do choose to wake that DNA up, that part of you, I'm telling you, there's no better feeling. None whatsoever. It's absolutely beautiful. So today my prayer and my desire is that you kings and queens who've been turned into beggars and nobody, no good to this and that, activate your true self and become. Assume your true positions. Assume your true identities and become what you're supposed to be. Save this planet. Save your communities. We're waiting on you to become you. Animals are waiting on you to become you. The planet is crying because you're not being you. If you become your true kings and queens you're supposed to be, everything maintains order. The earth retains its original order. That order, the one that is precise. And I'm telling you, you don't need a degree in any of these Ivy Leagues to assume your true identity. You only need a degree because of this sophistication of those sophisticated labors we want to give you. Just like a bird, a fish, a dog, none of them requires any degrees to become what they are, even you. A far more complex and sophisticated, beautiful human being. You need no degree to be who you are and who you are created to be. So become. Brothers and sisters, I love you. I love you, and I know that if you do choose to become, nobody will stop you. You'll start living your true life, the gifts of life that's been given to you. You will actually start living it. So guys, as a wrap up, I just want to wish you well, and ask that you take some time out, examine yourselves, and figure out who you are. Don't go ask a professor at a university. Don't go ask your parent. Do not go ask your BFF. Speak to your creator. Listen to your inner self. There lies your true identity. Take it. Because every other identity that's out here, it does not do justice when it comes to describing who you are. It simply just keeps you down. It chucks you. The same way you put your hands on your nose and another hands on your mouth. If you choose that life where you're like this, that's all good, it's all new. But also do know that all the gifts that's being packaged inside of you that you came with, you are going to deprive all of us those gifts, because you're supposed to be an added value to this whole entire planet by becoming you. So don't let yourself go, leave this planet before you become yourself, because all of us, we depend on that to move on where we must be. So make sure you say to yourself, I have to become myself. I have to become myself. I must become myself. It's in you. You don't have to go get it out there. It's in you. That's the beauty of how sophisticated and beautiful you are. So with that, guys, I want to give you a huge thanks. Again, for those of you who are just tuning in right now, we were talking about the confusion of identity, the crisis all over the world globally about the true identity, who you are. So do assume your true self, your true identity. It is my prayer that you do assume your true identity. So with that in mind, guys, feel free to come in and join us. For those of you, we have been seeing a lot of you who have been making all these comments there. We will read them later. But I want you guys to join in on that video conference on our next round, because we're running out of time apparently. And let's talk about this, because who you are and what you are or have been given as an identity, they're two different things. So guys, I love you. I love all of you. I love each and every one of you. Become who you are, especially my brothers and sisters in Africa who are so lost. Become who you are. And all these brothers and sisters all over the world also. Become yourself so you can release all these other people you are oppressing every single day. Because you yourself, you are out of position. You become yourself, everything around you also will heal. So let's become ourselves, guys. With that in mind, thank you so much for watching our show today. This is Africa State of Union, and this is Freeman, your host and your son. And I just want to humble myself and say thank you for spending this time watching us. Do share this conversation. Come and be a part of it. I want to host all of you guys. Come and let's share. And let's instill it in ourselves. Let's encourage one and each other to become who we're supposed to be. Because everybody else is taken. So do become, guys. Do become. And thank you so much.